All right, guys. Give me about a minute and a half. Well, less time than that. But thing about live videos, you got to wait till people start to get on here. So I have no idea who's going to show up. But our subject matter today is self-discipline. That was a question proposed by Anna, and it's a good one. It's a good question. Dealing with mental illness, you got to deal with that. You got to deal with that sort of thing. So, I love the questions I've been getting from my friends lately. I like that. Good job, guys. This is what it's all about. To have a discussion about these sorts of things. It is so nasty, humid outside. Just so you guys know. That hurricane relieved nothing. But anyway. Alright. Well, might as well start. Alright. Hi, my name is Daryl Phillips, owner of Noir Apology Gaming, and what we do here is listen to you talk. Let's see if anybody else is going to get on here. A lot of people are at work too, yo. So, a lot of people watch this after I'm off the actual live. So, but today we're going to discuss self-discipline. And oh god, my nose is so itchy. Stinking freaking allergies. What was I gonna say? Now I forgot what the hell I was saying. That's so sad. Oh, like, subscribe, share, follow. All the links are below. Check out those ingredient and the steps videos. That way you can understand what the path is for you. Now I discuss all sorts of different things like this, like self-discipline, things like this, that are important to the ingredients and the steps, by the way. You cannot possibly expect to change your life if you're not disciplined. Which goes into the subject matter at hand. What is that? What is self-discipline? What does that mean? Well, in the case of my business, it can be many things. It can be the fact that I'm disciplined enough to get on here when I need to. Hi, Anna. Disciplined to not just not think things through when I'm speaking, so forth and so on. So it depends on what you're working on. So it literally is dependent upon what you personally need to do in your own life. If it's interrupting, I know some friends like that. If it's just listening, self-discipline, all of these things are important because you don't want to be called something that you know you're not. You don't want to be called rude, for example, because you don't listen. You don't want to be called rude because you interrupt. And this is a learning process of your own self, not of me necessarily learning you. You have to learn you, right? So discipline is especially essential to people like myself. And take, for example, if you guys know anything about bipolar disorder, we can be very undisciplined. And one of the things I had to work on in my own life was some of the similar things to Anna, that I would interrupt people. I would blurt out answers even when I wasn't called on. Those sorts of things. In fact, when I was a kid, one of the number one things I used to get on my report card was does not think before he speaks. That's kind of a strange thing, isn't it? Consider what I do now. Yeah, I had to work on that. But I think what Anna is referring to is actions in your own life. Now, By all means, correct me if I'm wrong, Anna, but the inability to hold back yourself when you know you need discretion. It might not be speech; it could be actions, those sorts of things, and it's very important. You can get fired from a job or get in trouble if you're in high school or in college, and get kicked out of class for talking too much. But you could also, it could be worse. I mean, you're talking about, no offense to being kicked out of class, there are worse things. The inability to, in my case, one of the symptoms of bipolar disorder, one of the symptoms of bipolar disorder is compulsion on different things. Now, I don't gamble, but I did have the inability to just like hold myself from having sex. Was I a promiscuous person? Yeah. And so because so I would get myself in trouble. Self-discipline is about your want to do something that you need to do. So take, for example, this business. I absolutely loathe, I hate, I cannot stand the money side of business, right? Which you can't really run a business without the money side of the business. So I've had to learn all these new things, even though that's not what I intended on doing in the first place. It depends on how bad you want it. If you want to change your life, you're going to have to learn new things. And it mentions it, forcing herself to do mundane things. You have to. You have to learn how to do mundane things so that you can do the extraordinary things. Not everything in life is about fun or comfortability. It's the overall arching goal of what you're trying to do. So nobody wants to deal with their past, for example, yet you have to clean your house. The first step. Nobody wants to clean their house. Nobody. But if you don't, you're not going to deal with your issues very well, right? You know, that's the thing about all of the different people that I talk to. Everybody's got their own thing that they hate, like that they don't want to do. Hello, Denise. Everybody's got their own thing that they don't want to do, okay? And it depends on how bad you want it. I go back to that. Now it sounds silly now, considering that I do the graphic stuff and I do it pretty well. But there was a moment, I'm walking down the street with Dwan, and I told Dwan, I said, I don't want to be a graphics design guy. Well, if I want my business to succeed, yeah, I had to. Or take me getting on here in the first place. I wanted to pull back Dwan and allow him a chance to work on his own life. And you can't work on your own life when you're doing all this stuff. But I had never gotten on camera before. I had never done this before. And I had a choice to make. Either, which by the way, this was not part of the original plan. Part of the original plan was not for me to get on here, it was for Dwan to get on here. But how bad do you want it to, how bad did I want it to succeed? And that's the question you have to ask yourself. How bad do you want this to succeed? Do you enjoy your sleep or running a business? Because you can sleep later. If you're one of those people that needs their 8 hours of beauty sleep, then be not mistaken, you're not going to run a business very well. If you're not willing to sacrifice certain things and still show self-discipline, you're not going to succeed. It's just not a possibility. That's actually a good point, Anna. You're whatever it is you're doing, your want to must exceed the thing you don't want to do, and you have got to test that at all times. And maybe you're not there yet. That's okay. Just keep working on it. You're not going to be there in one. Like it doesn't work that way. I can tell you this camera here, that was the scariest effing thing that you could ever imagine for myself. Anybody who knows anything about me knows how stinking shy I was to get up in front of people. But I got tired of being a loser. You can quote all my problems, you can talk about bipolar disorder, you can talk about my issues and so forth and so on. I got tired of being a loser. My want to not be a loser so superseded any fear that I could have possibly had doing this. Why? Because I got tired of it. That's why it's so important to understand that question or that statement that you need to be making. I've had it. If you don't understand that, if you haven't had it, you're not going to be willing to do what it takes, including the bad stuff, to do what you need to do. We need not procrastinate. Well, that's easy, Denise, except that some of us have trained our mind so effectively, by the way, that we're either never going to be anything, or that we have, whatever it may be that we fill our mind with, that we have convinced ourselves. I know I did. We convinced ourselves that that we can never be anything. It's not quite as simple for everyone as that. You're right, but it doesn't work that way with people with psych issues. When I looked in the mirror and I saw a monster, there was nothing you were going to do to convince me that I was anything, no matter what you saw in me. I had to see it in me. That's why one of the things I stress is, if I could say to you whatever I want to say to you, and you can either believe it or don't believe it, but until you actually believe in yourself, do you actually believe what you're supposed to be doing for yourself, doesn't matter who I am. Doesn't matter. That doesn't matter if I have all the proof in the world that you're this or that you're that. You have to see it yourself. It took me a long time. I can tell you right now, Anna doesn't believe in herself. She says she doesn't have as low self-esteem as I say she does. Well, if that's the case, then either it's laziness or it's low self-esteem. It's not one or the other. It's, excuse me, I suppose it could be both, actually. When you tell yourself lies for so long, you eventually believe them. And that's what I try to work on. That's what my message is in regards to the ingredients and the steps. is to retrain your mind. It doesn't happen overnight. In fact, it doesn't happen at all if you don't want to, carrying your first ingredient. So no matter how, the doctors could tell you, Daryl, they literally told me this, Daryl, if you drink again like I was drinking, you'll die. That meant so very little to me. Health might be a big thing for some people, but when you have a low self-esteem and you already feel like crap inside, health doesn't work. It doesn't work. Stopping drinking and stuff like that, especially when you told yourself these lies all your life. When I met Sophia, I believed so many lies about myself. So many lies about myself. And it's a self-fulfilling prophecies, because I would look in the mirror and I would see this monster. But it was a self-fulfilling prophecy because I wanted it to be true. It's hard to work on your problems. It's hard to work on these things. Self-discipline is not an easy thing, by the way. It is a trained thing. You have to learn over time. Especially when you're of a certain age. None of the people that are around me right now are what I would consider young. Everyone's my age or older. What does that mean exactly? Nothing. That isn't an excuse. What it means, though, is some of us have been training our minds to tell ourselves that we are nothing for so long that we don't know any other way. When you tell yourself, or my favorite one is like when you're looking at yourself, and it's always like you're always trying to verify what other negativity other people has to say about yourself. So without even trying to change it, you're a loser. You're fat. You're lazy. You're this. Without even trying to verify it, whether or not it's true. And maybe it is true. Then change it. Self-discipline. Self-discipline isn't just covering one subject. Self-discipline is covering the wider arrangement of different things. You cannot possibly carry your ingredients. You cannot possibly work the steps. You're not going to work the steps at all. How are you supposed to show self-discipline when cleaning your house? Especially if you have problems like I did. It's practice. You have to learn how to discipline yourself. You can't always rely on other people to discipline you. Yes, you would hope that people would help you train your mind, but it's not their responsibility. It's your life. Right? Today's subject matter is a good subject matter because a lot of people lack self-discipline. They wait for other people to correct them, and they go, well, see, that's what I did wrong. What's going to happen if you don't have anyone around? You got to train yourself. I had to train myself. I have to train myself every day. When I don't feel it, I'm not exactly feeling the greatest mood today. I have to discipline myself sometimes to get on here like that. And then be happy when I'm doing it. And not be short-tempered and so forth and so on. It doesn't do you guys any good. Training and time, you have to do those things. But many people, including myself and in my past, used to just assume that I had no discipline. So therefore I have no discipline. That's not a way to be. Just assuming something without even making an attempt to try it, it's sad. But how many people you guys know do that? How many people you guys know that will walk into a job, walk into a home, walk into life, however you want to say it, and they just assume this is the way they are and they can't change? Many people. You know, this isn't a difficult subject, honestly, to understand. Really. You have to show it. You have to show us something discipline. And it's about you disciplining yourself. Right? You know, some of the more interesting techniques I use to try to train my mind requires self-discipline. It took a long time to get certain things through to myself. You know, it's not a difficult subject to understand, but it's very difficult to achieve sometimes, especially when you have not even tried to practice it. So think about that, guys. I don't really have much else to say. Actually, I'm probably going to go lay down. I'm not feeling exactly the greatest today, but Anna wanted me to address this subject. But it's called self-discipline. It is about yourself. It's not about Daryl or somebody else disciplining you. That's one thing. But it's not about that. It's about you disciplining yourself. And what are you disciplining? Well, that's what you have to decide. You know, as I get to know more people and their issues, it's more and more, I can better focus on what they need, because it's an individual thing. Now, Anna could have a twin sister right now that doesn't react exactly like Anna does. You know, everyone has the way they react to things, and you have to be able to come at that person the way they are, right? So just food for thought, guys. It's Wednesday. It's effing humid outside. The allergies are effing terrible. As you can tell, I keep itching my nose. It's so sad. So sad. But you guys keep bringing up subject matters to me every day. You guys are doing good. This is good stuff. This is good stuff. I'm glad you guys are doing it this way. It's awesome. But be safe when you're coming home today. Always be aware of your surroundings. Never just ignore things just because you think you know. Right? You never know what you can learn, whether it be positive or negative. Always be just aware of the areas around you, right? And the people that are around you. Be understanding of one another, not just from your perspective, but from theirs. And remember, not everybody knows how to take the first step. That's the point of this. I'm trying to teach you how to take the first step, right? And be understanding of yourself, that you do not always have to, just because you can't give $1 a day doesn't make you a bad person, right? Think on that. What else? Remember, life is fleeting. Now promise your next breath. I wish I had gotten that lesson earlier in my life, and there's a lot of stuff that would have been prevented. So think on that. And until tomorrow, may the Lord guide you in all things.